Laker Nation, hey listen, I don't want y'all to think I'm too excited about this win, but you can hear it in my voice, can't you?
Face in your face.
You can hear it in my voice. Hey listen, although this was a young Houston team, Lakers came into town and took care of business. A win is a win, no matter who is on the other side of it. And the Lakers came in and finally handled business. They finally showed energy, at least a little bit more than what we've been showing. They finally showed that they can control a game to close out a game. These young boys have been whooping up on the Lakers. Let me tell you, they've been running circles around. And the Lakers chose to save some in the tank. They played smarter, not harder. They played with energy and effort. And it was all spearheaded by Lebron James. LeBron James had another 30-point night. He had a triple-double this game. And so did Brody. And I know I said a lot of stuff about Brody on my last podcast, on the last episode. And I'm going to break down how I feel after this win on tonight's podcast. And that's all coming up next on the Film Room Podcast. Hey, listen, Laker Nation. I'm not going to make this one too long. It's not too much to talk about because this Houston team is just that. Just a Houston team. You know, they're young, they're learning. They got plenty of energy, plenty of weapons. But they just don't have that guy to close it out yet. And that's what we did tonight. We just closed it out. I thought they actually played harder than us. With LeBron James on the floor, we just played smarter. You know what I mean? Carmelo Anthony always plays good against the Rockets. I think he's holding a grudge. And all we need is for him to play like that every night against every team in the NBA, and we might be doing something. Because we need that third person. Malik Monk was incredible tonight. I always count on Malik Monk. If Malik Monk has an off game, listen, I'm upset. Because I know Malik Monk's potential. I know what he's got in the tank. And Malik Monk is going to be that X factor, and we have got to use him as such. I thought it would be him and THT kind of just taking over this team. But it's more so the Malik Monk show. More so than the THT show. I don't know what happened with THT. I don't know where he has gone. But he needs to return to ASAP to doing those incredible, awkward-looking backwards layups. But listen, it was an impressive win. I talked to my pops. He said the same thing. This was an impressive win. I said, yes, sir. Although it was a Houston team, hey, listen. These guys are still in the NBA and they still playing hard. They can knock down threes and make dunks and do all that stuff just with the best of them. The only difference is they just don't have a closer. They don't have that leadership in the locker room. Just a lot of young guys. And that's the difference right there. Had James Harden stayed with this group right here, hey, listen, there would be a problem in the West. But ladies and gentlemen, we look good tonight. You know what I mean? And I'm not going to say this is the game that turns the corner for the Lakers. No, no, no. Because we got the Grizzlies coming tomorrow night. And we're going to see how they play against the Grizzlies. And listen, I got a feeling we may beat them. I got a feeling that we may go in and we may turn up and try to get this thing turned around. Because they all have the talent and the ability to do so. I mean, look it. Houston Rockets almost beat us. Again, I think we lost to them already this year. So any team has the ability to turn something around and have a good night. Hey, listen, some nights you're just off. Some nights you just can't get it to go in. Some nights you just can't get a stop. And for most of the season, that's been the Lakers. And once we turn that thing around, that's what we got to do. This pickup for Stanley Johnson, hey, listen, he started tonight. And I thought he played some decent ball. Started at forward. And he gave us some great minutes. I don't think he scored that much. Let me go to my box score. Nuggets are killing the Warriors right now. So we beat this Houston team 132-123. I'm going to go to my box score. Let's start with Stanley Johnson. He played 31 minutes, scored 9 points. He had 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal. It's a pretty decent game. Avery Bradley played 30 minutes, scored 14 points, had 4 rebounds, 0 assists, 2 steals. Avery Bradley was incredible yet again. And see, a lot of people don't notice what Avery Bradley does, but Avery Bradley gets those points that we need when we can't score a bucket. He moves off the ball, incredible, with LeBron James on the floor, and he finds him almost every single time. They play very well together. Avery Bradley is that guy that kind of gets us in that midsection, where we start to kind of slack off and let off the gas on offense and start missing shots and hoisting up threes. Hey, listen, Avery Bradley is that guy that stands in that gap and gets us a bucket or two. And he came in great in that third quarter. Let's go to Russell Westbrook. Westbrook played 34 minutes, scored 24 points. He had 12 rebounds, 10 assists, 2 steals. He was 2 for 2 from 3 tonight, 100%. I'll get back to him later. Malik Monk started tonight at small forward, played 39 minutes, scored 25 points. He had 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 2 blocks. He was 7 for 14 from the field. You know what that is, 50%. And he was 3 for 7 from 3. That's 42.9%. And he was 8 for 8 from the free throw line. I remember him being 8 for 8. LeBron James played 39 minutes, scored 32 points. He had 11 rebounds, 11 assists. He had 1 steal, 2 blocks. LeBron James looked incredible again tonight. 5 consecutive 30-plus games. He was 11 for 19 from the field, that's 57.9%, and he was 3 for 5 from 3. That's 60%. He was 7 for 9 from the free throw line. He looked incredible. Let's go to our bench real quick. Carmelo Anthony played 27 minutes, scored 24 points. He had 9 rebounds, 0 assists, 1 steal, and 2 blocks. He was 9 for 15 from the field, that's 60%. And he was 4 from 8 from 3, that's 50%. Hey, listen, Carmelo Anthony again had himself a night. He knocked down 4 threes. He looked incredible. He was another guy that stood in that gap when we needed a bucket or two. He put his head down. He got to his spots and knocked down these little short jumpers. And then he made some timely threes. Same with Malik Monk. Malik Monk just balled all night, though. Malik Monk just balled all night. THT. Now listen to this. THT played 21 minutes, scored 2 points. He had 3 rebounds, 1 assist. He was 1 for 4 from the field. That's 25%. And 0 for 2 from 3. I don't know what's going on with THT, but we need you back, bro. We need you back. I don't want to let you go. But that's what it's looking like, man. You got to step it up. Young players like you that's got great energy, that's got great potential. If you are not producing on this team, hey, listen, you are more so an asset on the trade market than you are on the team. You got to get it together. Collison played 14 minutes, scored 2 points. He had 2 rebounds, 1 assist. And everybody else is out. Dwight Howard out. DeAndre Jordan out. Trevor Ariza out. Kent Bazemore out. Anthony Davis out. Wayne Ellington out. Kendrick Nunn out. Austin Reeves out. Rondo is out. It's 9 players, not including the other names that's on there. So we won with a depleted roster again. Played 8 players. Now listen, ladies and gentlemen, 8 players in a game is typically playoff basketball. You play 8, maybe 9 players. We are starting this early because of how many players we have out. Now, I don't know if y'all know this, but this is not a great look for the Lakers. It's not. Although it's early, it's at that dusk moment. You know what I'm saying? Where the sun is out and it starts drifting down. That's where we at in this season. It's still early, yes, but it's also getting dark. It's starting to get dark, and that's where we're at. So we need our guys back to build this continuity, to build this chemistry, because chemistry can win you basketball games. Tendencies. You know each other's behavior. You know when he looks left, what he's doing. You know when he looks right, what he's doing. You know what I mean? That's chemistry. And teams need that. We definitely need that. So it was a good win. Tomorrow night is going to tell us if we have the go-ahead to move forward. Playing a back-to-back with a young Houston team that ran us all around the court. And then tomorrow playing a young Grizzlies team who's scorching hot, who's over 500 right now. So I told you I was going to come back to Russell Westbrook, and here it is. I mentioned in my last podcast that we got to get rid of him, that he's the problem, that he's the issue, that it's just not going to work, etc., etc. Now, I say that because I still don't think he's a good fit on this Lakers team. And I'm doubling down on that. And although I heard a lot of reports is that this is typical for Russell Westbrook, to have a really bad, awful start to the season, and then in the second half, he turns it on. But then I've also heard that he doesn't play well in the playoffs. I guess we will find out. Because I don't think he's going anywhere. Because when he has a bad game or 3 bad games or 4 bad games, he comes back and has a game like this, triple-double, 24, 12, and 10. He had a clutch rebound. He had a lot of clutch things that he did in this game. But also, he had a lot of timely turnovers again. When we were losing the lead, when we were up by 11, and then we quickly went down and we had a lead by 5, he would turn the ball over. Just a stupid turnover. Nobody around him, just lose the ball. Dribbling off his feet, out of bounds. These mistakes we cannot have. These teams rarely make any mistakes. So, as a team, if we have one player making several mistakes, it's already at our detriment. And we know LeBron James makes mistakes as well. They handle the ball so much, it's likely to happen. I get it. But when you have mistakes like the ones that Brody makes, it's just bad basketball. It's just not being focused. Dribbling off your foot out of bounds. Turning the ball over, it's still the same thing. He had a triple-double, but yes, how many turnovers did he have? His plus-minus, he was a +9. He had 7 turnovers. 7. And if it wasn't LeBron James, hey, listen, we would be losing this game. LeBron James put his head down, and although Russell Westbrook made 2 or 3 great assists at the end of the game to kind of get us that cushion lead, 7 turnovers. He almost had another quadruple-double. LeBron James had 3 turnovers. And LeBron James is around there, 3, 4. He had the most on our team. That's a lot of turnovers, ladies and gentlemen. For a point guard who handles the ball as much as he does, that's a lot of turnovers. Those are a lot of possessions. 7 turnovers. In twos, that's 14 points right there on the books. In threes, it's 21. I can multiply. We cannot have that. And as we go deeper into our schedule, especially now, when we're under 500, we cannot have these turnovers. You say, hey, Derek, what are we going to do? And I tell you, he's great. He's just not great on the Lakers. Because we already have LeBron James who can handle the ball and makes very few mistakes, very few turnovers, and is so much smarter with the ball. Russell Westbrook can barely make a three, barely make a jump shot. And he lacks on defense. But he plays hard and his motor doesn't stop. Well, guess what? So does Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons has so much height and length on Russell Westbrook. Like Russell Westbrook, he does not shoot the ball well. At least Russell does shoot. And he definitely doesn't hit a three in Russell Westbrook 50-50 chance. But Ben Simmons' defense is really what we need. We need his defense. Ben Simmons has a motor that's similar to Russell Westbrook. He's young. He's strong like LeBron. Picture that. LeBron James, Malik Monk, AD, Ben Simmons, and Avery Bradley. I mean, what are we talking about here? Would y'all not make that deal? Russell Westbrook and possibly THT just to get Ben Simmons? Now, I'm not saying that Russell Westbrook is trash at all. I love Brody. But I do not love these turnovers. And with these turnovers, ladies and gentlemen, with his lack of defense, ladies and gentlemen, it's not a good mix. It's not a good mix to go deep in the playoffs, especially with teams like the Warriors and Suns who rarely or barely make mistakes, rarely turns the ball over, handles the ball well. You know what I mean? We need defense. We need guys that's going to handle the ball and not turn it over. Now, I don't know Ben Simmons' history with turnovers, but I guarantee you it's not like Brody's, because I would have heard of it by now. And it's just times like when he drives into the hole and he makes a good play and you're thinking, yes, that's what we need. And then he bangs the ball off the rim. Now, it happens to the best of them. Yes, it happens to Brody a lot. A lot more than normal. A lot more than any other player. Yes, every basketball player makes turnovers, but yes, it happens to Brody. And it happens to Brody a lot. That clutch moments, at times when we need a possession to keep the lead, to keep the momentum, to keep the cushion. That, ladies and gentlemen, is why I double down on saying we got to let him go. And although I love to see him play, and I love when he's rocking the baby and yelling and screaming and showing the grill face, I love all that passion and energy. But passion and energy with his turnovers and lack of defense will not get us where we need to be. And where we need to be is above a lot of these teams and get a good playoff position in the standings. Right now, we are 17 for 18, and we got a tough road ahead. Our games, we play the Grizzlies, the Blazers, Timberwolves again, Sacramento Kings again. Atlanta Hawks. Grizzlies again. Sacramento Kings again. Denver Nuggets. Utah Jazz. And the Pacers. And out of that entire 10-game stretch, the Pacers is the weakest team, and they're 14 for 20 right now. Atlanta is 15 for 18. They're in 11th place. Pacers are in 13th place. We play Utah that's in 3rd, Memphis that's in 4th, Denver that's in 5th. Minnesota Timberwolves that keep just crushing us, they're in 9th. Portland's in 11th. Sacramento Kings are in 12th. Listen, yes, before I seen this team play and before all these injuries and protocols, I would say this schedule isn't hard at all. We should win 80%, maybe 90% of these games. But listen, our defense, our energy, our effort, and needs a check. No bruh who that. Although Jalen Green was incredible tonight. But I can go into the post-game shits.
If any adjustments there would be for LeBron starting at the 5 defensively for you in your spot, and then if that has same thing on the offensive end, if that shifts your what you have to do at all.
Not really. Just been able to figure out where we can export our matchups and when and where is probably the only adjustment to be made.
And then just with how much space you guys had offensively, Russ, what are the obvious benefits are, ability for you guys to get inside, but what are you looking for in those situations when there's all that space?
Just want to attack, use the gaps, being able to create some type of angles to be able to drive and kick or to finish around the basket.
Go to Kyle, please. Kyle, good, yeah.
Hey, Russ. Just down the stretch, obviously, you and LeBron had some great chemistry. Wondering what in those situations is different or maybe even amplified about the relationship you guys have down the stretch of games?
Just figuring it out. We've been able to kind of create some chemistry and things we like and see when defenses are trying to guard both of us together. People don't really want to switch, so it gives us a good advantage. And my job is to be able to make sure I put the ball in position to make it easy for Bron to do what he's able to do, and that's finish well around the basket.
Dan?
Hey, Russ. Moving forward, do you think that this can be a part of this team's identity? You did it obviously for a long stretch with Houston before in terms of centerless basketball. Can this be something that you guys have and use more often than not? Obviously, AD will be back at some point, but even beyond that.
I mean, the game, we'll tell you what to do. I mean, based on the way the league is going, your small ball lineup is something that we can use and utilize. And as the season goes on, we find ways to be able to utilize it throughout the games, to be able to give teams a different look from us.
All right, Dave?
Russ, Fizz told us that he really felt like yesterday's practice and film session was helpful for this group, and LeBron kind of echoed those comments in his post-game comments with Spectrum. I wanted to know, for you, what was your perspective of yesterday? What do you think it did for the team?
It was good just to practice, get on the floor. We haven't been able to do that for a long time. To be able to do that is good. Create some different things we were able to work on defensively, offensively, and how we can improve. And you've seen some of that tonight, just how we played and spurts throughout the game.
Go with that gentleman in the first row.
Russ, can you talk about what you've seen from the young Rockets backcourt, Kevin Porter Jr. and Jalen Green?
They're going to be good, They're young and they got a lot to learn in this league, but they will be good years to come as long as they continue to get better and continue finding ways to be able to improve in this league.
Russ, how big was it for you guys to come in here and close it out late and end the skid?
It's good. It shows that we're able to close games.
And LeBron of what you guys were looking for and why that was able to be executed like that?
Well, that's something that we're going to have to keep continue to develop because of their talent set. Building that chemistry between the two of them, and obviously when AD comes back, but that should be a really good two-man game for us late, and it turned out to be really effective. Those guys showed they took a step forward in connection tonight. When you come together on that many back cuts, it's starting to show that you're getting to know each other a little bit, and that's a good thing for us.
And then, Coach, just wanted to know the thought behind going small to the extent and not using the bigs, and how you thought that impacted things on both sides of the court tonight.
Their speed and versatility kind of pushes you into a difficult position, and just LeBron's plus minus at the 5 is so ridiculous right now. And for us to be, have guys out with COVID and stuff like that, I just took a gamble and said, I think it's a nice tonight to start him at 5. and Stanley Johnson, being the defender that he is, really held his, came back and gave us another nice performance, back-to-back performances. And it allowed us to have a lot of versatility on the floor and at the same time a lot of space. And the spacing paid off with 132 points.
All right, go to Dan.
Hey, Fizz. A little bit more on LeBron at center. Obviously you guys have done that in places throughout the season with second units and stuff. Over this next 4 weeks or however long with AD, can this just be who you guys are, regardless of who you're playing, or is this going to have to still be a matchup-based thing?
I think as we get some of our forwards back, you get Trevor Ariza back. Obviously, waiting on AD. I think we're going to play a ton of small ball. I think our 5 still have a very valuable role on this team, from the standpoint of there's some great over 7-foot guys in this league that can just abuse you if you play small. So, we want to still keep our 5s engaged. DJ and Dwight are important to what we're doing. Tonight I just went with my gut and just stayed with the small ball and trying to match up with their speed and versatility.
Dave, please.
Fizz, did you see any ways in which this assignment for LeBron, not that he isn't already engaged, but it kind of spoke to him or challenged him or got him even more locked in to do something he's never done in 19 years in the league?
I just told the team that. They kind of laughed at first like it was no big deal. I'm like, I don't think you guys realize what this guy just did. He just played the 5 for 4 quarters and dominated at the position and played it while playing point guard, he just, oh my gosh, this guy is unbelievable. I can't help it, man. It's like we're very lucky as basketball people to get to watch what we're watching right now out of this man. And it's just beautiful. And I know our results haven't been coming back the way we want them to right now. But the way he's going about this thing and the way he's playing, he can't help but to galvanize us and really get this team to go in the right direction. And I just really feel like, as we start to get healthy, his energy and will and his leadership and his poise will be the thing that really pushes us forward.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got another game tomorrow. And I know I probably won't get this podcast out in time because I am really behind right now, and I do apologize. I got a lot of stuff going on in my personal. Anybody listening, anybody watching, I'd like you to say a prayer if you pray. For my family right now, going through a hard time. And yeah, you've been a beautiful crowd. I've been a beautiful host. My name is Derek James. Hey, listen, we got the Grizzlies tonight. We gonna need all the energy and effort from the fans. Okay? I'm your boy, Derek James. And I'm out this bit.